All right, Miles. One of the teams we started talking about a lot recently is a team that's doing a lot of things smart. That's the New York Jets. They did one heck of a job building their roster, both on offense and defense. And then Coach Saul made the right decision, it seems to, at a key position, going with Mike White. And there's even more evidence and a couple news stories coming about how important, not just on the field, but off the field as well, Mike White has been to this Jets team. And I know you've got the specifics on that. But before I hand it over to you, Jets fans, we want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. There's been a lot of news around the corner about what teams, or what players, I should say, are Hall of Fame finalists going into Super Bowl week, is when they announce who's going to make it. The Jets have a long and storied history. I mean, Joe Namath, Don Maynard, Curtis Martin, a lot of great Jets throughout the years. But give us a New York Jet that you think should be in the Hall of Fame, but isn't. My guy personally is Nick Mangold. I loved watching him. Was an offensive lineman all through high school and college. So I love watching Mangold. I thought he was a great player. But give us a guy who you think should be in the Hall of Fame in the comment section below. But Miles, give us the latest on New York.
Easy for me too, Nick. It's a guy who's still playing on the Jets. That's Joe Flacco. Easy Hall of Famer for me. Super Bowl MVP. So I think he's a first ballot type of guy.
Elite.
But talking about quarterback play there, though, Nick, we talked about it. The Jets go with Mike White instead of Zach Wilson. Coach Robert Saleh says that, they're going to go with Mike White for the time being, and he's trying to see if Zach Wilson will be ready to play football again, but he's not going to make that decision yet. He'll make it when he's ready. And, he may never be ready, Nick. They may never move off of Mike White because Mike White keeps doing Mike White things, as his teammates say about him. He's been a very special player. He threw for almost 400 yards last week. He did throw 2 picks and did not get a touchdown, but still, he was moving the ball through the air against a very tough Vikings team, Nick. And his teammates had a lot of great things to say about him. I'm going to give you some quotes here. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson, he said, "I'll go to work for that boy. He's got something special about him." Number 1 receiver on the team there, Nick. A lot to be said when he's saying that he wants to go to work for his QB, Mike White. Running back Ty Johnson said he was a smooth operator out there. He was just doing Mike White things, you know what I'm saying? So big talk from a running back, Dwayne Brown, offensive tackle for the Jets. He said he played a hell of a game. He commanded the offense really well. He made timely decisions. He had some big plays at critical moments. Great poise, great day for him. So all around, Nick, everybody on this team seems to be on the Mike White train. Heck, they even wore Mike White shirts leading into the game. I think he is the full support of this offense, and I think they've made the right decision going with Mike White because he can move the ball, Nick. He can sling it. He's shown that he has the propensity to make this Jets offense run really, really well. And, Zach Wilson hasn't done that, Nick. He just has not done it. He has played very poorly. I would say he even regressed this season. He just does not look like the guy.
Yeah, and the interesting thing to me about Garrett Wilson's comments was after the heartbreaking Patriots loss in the locker room and to the media and all that after the game. I mean, it was a close loss again to the Patriots, obviously 10-3 on that final punt return. But Wilson was very down in the dumps, defeated, didn't have a lot of optimism, didn't have a lot of energy. Fast forward a few weeks, they lose a close game, a heartbreaking game on the road, Minnesota Vikings. It's all positive energy. It's all good vibes. It's all, hey, we're heading in the right direction. Hey, we got our guy. That's what doing well at the quarterback position will do to a team. It galvanizes the team because when you have a player Wilson's caliber and some of these other playmakers on offense and some of these guys on defense, frankly, they feel like their talent and their efforts are wasted when you're struggling at the quarterback position. And when you get better at the quarterback position, it just gives them that extra boost. And you're really seeing a Jets team that's trying to make a playoff push here. And it's not just the Jets comments, right? When you look at the overall performance, obviously the eye test has favored Mike White, but when you look at the PFF grades, it's laughable the distance between Zach Wilson and White. So according to PFF, Zach Wilson in 2022 grades out at 48.8. For those of you who have been a little far away from high school, getting a 48 is bad. That's failing. That's not getting it done. That's why you get benched, and that's how you get benched. Mike White, on the other hand, is grading out at a 73.8. Look, that doesn't sound incredibly high for people that aren't familiar with PFF, but for PFF, once you get to about 80 to 85, that's like superstar level status. That's Pat Mahomes, that's Joe Burrow, that's that level of quarterbacking. So 75 to 70 to 80 in that range is good, solid quality quarterbacking for how PFF grades their players. So that's a good sign. Mike White is playing at a really high level for this Jets offense.
Yeah, Nick, and that's it. He's been playing very well. The Western Kentucky guys, they can put on a show. You look at a guy like Bailey Zappi for the Patriots you talked about. He came in and he electrified it. Seems like these guys from Western Kentucky, can come in and really put on a heck of a performance. And that's actually a very similar situation, Nick, because Mac Jones, he was getting a lot of flack. He was they were down on him in New England. Bailey Zappi came in. He put on some electrifying performances. People are saying, should we switch? Should we switch? But Mac Jones handled the situation the way he needed to. He kind of went back to work, did all the things he needed to do, and they ended up sticking with Mac Jones. But on the opposite side of the ball, you have Mike White and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson made the comment that kind of really lost him the locker room when he was getting down in the dumps. And then Mike White comes out, puts on these electric performances, and it seems like the team is backing Mike White now, and they're ready to go to battle with him. They're ready to go to war with him. And, it's not so much about what they say about the other guy as it is how much they support the new guy that means a lot to me, Nick. That's what's showing me this team is ready to be under the control of Mike White.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about Zach Wilson. Of course, he caught a lot of flack for his comments after the loss to the Patriots, how he didn't think it was the offense's fault and the blame shouldn't be on him and all of that, which, of course, was a terrible look for a team that only scored 3 points and just was anemic on offense. Compare that, of course, now to Mike White in the loss against the Minnesota Vikings, where they did move the ball up and down the field, but just didn't get it done in the red zone. After the game, Mike White was asked, and he took accountability. He said, quote, "My job as a quarterback is to put our team in the best position, and that's scoring in the red zone. So it starts with me." Again, Mike White, totally different animal there. You got Zach Wilson not taking accountability. His team kind of turns against him. Mike White played well, did not have a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination. If Berrios doesn't drop that 4th down pass, they may win the game. Instead, he puts the blame 100% on him, and that's how you get a team behind a guy playing well, showing leadership traits. The Jets have their guy for the stretch run and potentially for the long term.